Welcome to Uncensored Entrepreneurs, where hosts Stephanie Magnus and Sabrina Wiggins break down the real deal about entrepreneurship without sugarcoating anything.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are back again for another episode of Uncensored Entrepreneurs, and I am your host, Sabrina Wiggins.
And I'm Stephanie Magnus.
And today we are interviewing, oh my God, someone that has a beverage that I love so well. Wine.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring up the wine glass. Masunda. We have her in the studio with us today, and we are so excited to talk about her wine and how she got started. Again, this is Uncensored Entrepreneurs, so we're going to get down a little to the nitty-gritty and talk to her more about how she got started. And we don't want her to hold back because we know that it's a roller coaster ride at times when we're on this entrepreneurship journey. So we want her to freely speak on her ups and downs on her journey. All right. Good afternoon. Come on in. I'm going to allow you to give your own introduction and give a little more background before we jump right into the interview.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Camillya Masunda. I am the founder and CEO of Ebony Wine and Spirits. That's Ebony with an E. I am a serial entrepreneur, philanthropist, a mom, a sister, cousin, auntie, your favorite new wine sister if you haven't met Ebony Wine. And I am delighted to be here and to tell you my story about this journey in the wine industry. And yes, it has been a complete journey, but I'm excited to share it with you.
Well, that is awesome. And I'm gonna have to talk to you a little bit later on because I need my own spirit.
Yes.
Yes. So we're gonna just jump right into it. So just tell us, how did you get on this journey? When it came to wine, was it where you were a connoisseur already and you decided you wanted to be able to make your own wine? How did you get started?
So I definitely was a connoisseur in the sense of I enjoyed wine, and I would find myself I was in college at the time and finding myself at different functions with my friends. And I would always be the one to, either I was bringing wine or I would end up looking at the wine bottle with my friends, asking them questions about the wine. And from that led me to, want to look up what we're drinking. We saw different commercials and stuff at the time in the mid to early 2000s, it was a barefoot time, but it was a very, in the drinking world, it was hypnotic. It was all these, flashy different drinks. But for me and my friends, it was wine. But I just wanted to know more. And the more that I researched, the more that I definitely, at that time, did not see representation of women of color in wine. And so that prompted me to, wanted to be intrigued to start researching about wine. And then it gave me the idea of possibly or dreaming and writing down one day that I would have my own wine and spirits company. And from that's pretty much how we got started. I was traveling. Later on, I started going to different wine tastings. I remember going to my first wine tasting and just realizing how much I didn't know about wine. I remember, doing the tasting and watching everyone, spit out wine when they were tasting. And I was just swallowing the wine, looking around like, why are these people spitting this wine out? But it was such a aha, moment for me. And then to look around in that space and not see people who looked like me, but yearn to see more people who look like me, and to just want to know more so I could be knowledgeable about wine.
Well, now I'm with you now. We don't spit out wine. We don't drink it. Look, like it or not, we ain't wasting wine.
Listen, I wasn't into that. I'm just steady sipping, and I'm just like, It's already gone. It's nothing to spit out. So
and that's so interesting because wine now is starting to become a trend, right? And now we see more people are, getting to the wine, and wine also have health benefits depending on what flavor you're consuming. Sometimes the doctor, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, her doctor told her a glass of wine a day may help her, so it's good benefits to the wine, that too. So Sabrina, before we get into the hot seat, I have some hot seat questions, but I do have some hot seat questions. I do have some hot seat questions.
Okay.
Sabrina, want to jump into the hot seat questions or anything else you want to add, Sabrina?
Well, I do want to, before you get into the hot seat questions, one of the other questions that I do have for you is that when you started this, what made you name your wine, Ebony Wine and Spirits? Like, where did the name come from?
So for me, that was finding a name for stuff. I know you as an author, that it's not an easy thing, right? And this was a baby that I birthed. But when I started to look up something, started to just research of what I wanted to express, not only through the wine, but through the message in the wine, through the words in the wine. And I really was looking for something that also unified, but expressed what I believe our wine was supposed to be. And for me, I wanted our wine to say, hey, we are, I wanted to tell my story in the sense of being Congolese. My family's from Congo and Zaire, my immigrants in a sense, and really wanted to celebrate the unity of melanated culture around the world. And in the way that I felt like I would be able to do that is by the expression of what the title of our wine would be. And so when I was looking up different words for people of color, melanated, and different things like that, for me, it was ebony. And it was like the pure essence of darkness. And it was and it's a celebration of culture and the diversity of people of color. And I was thinking to myself, what better way than to call something ebony and to create something that people all around the world would be proud of, and to make people want to, like I had been doing, to make people want to dive into researching, right? So if you're sitting in front of a bottle of wine, and if you're sipping that wine, then you're going to want to, 9 times out of 10, you're going to read the back of the bottle, or you're going to read the label, and you're going to ask, like you just asked me, why ebony? And then when you start to research who we are, I think it'll come into full circle of why we named it ebony. And like I said, we wanted to express the celebration of melanated people around the world, but in uniting them and bringing them together and celebrating our differences and celebrating our similarities, and all that embodied as a people.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you for sharing that. And that's just really, like, we always tell people, we give people their flowers now. We're telling their celebration. Let me just say thank you. Thank you for getting into a space that we normally don't have a seat at the table with. And so, that's the truth. Reality is that we're now positioning ourselves. I don't care if the viewers are of your person of color, you're a woman, et cetera, et cetera. We usually in the past did not have a seat at the table, which is the wine table. And you're open up a lane. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see younger viewers that are watching this will say, hey, I can start my own wine business as well, because I like wine at that, but it gives me opportunity to say, hey, she's doing it. I could possibly do it. If you just told me 20 years ago, I'd be like, we don't have a seat at the table, and people that make wine don't look like us typically.
And that's the honest truth. Really, to representation is absolutely everything. Right. BIPOC people, we in the space of wine, we are less than 1%. Women in wine, less than 1%. And really understanding that what we're doing, even if you see a list of 100 Black wines, do you understand that's still 1%? So really painting the picture, an overall picture, to understand this industry of who owns what. and this is not, to me, this is not mistakenly, but understanding moralization and understanding that when we create a space and create opportunity, it's so much in my lifetime that I will see and that Ebony Wine and Spirits will do. But in the bigger picture, it's what so many other women of color will come behind me and what they will do. Because they'll have also a blueprint. They'll have a reference. They'll be able to look at, shows like yours, your platforms, and be able to say, you know what, this is an opportunity for me. Agriculture is the opportunity for me. When I go to college, I don't have to be in this box of what people think that I should do. I can learn about plant life, growth, just spirits. It's a whole big industry. That I call them my brothers and sisters in wine. What we're coming to do is really pushing a pathway. In my research, you have, people of color who were in wine, but it was very near and far, like very small, even less than 1%. So what our mission is to say, hey, you can't really just think about, and when I do shows like this, or when I'm speaking and when I'm telling the story, it's not so much of me just thinking about me, but I'm thinking about that girl who's, at an event and she doesn't see herself, but when she knows that she can go and she can Google and she's going to come up, she's going to see other women who look like her. She's going to see people who are coming from different backgrounds. It doesn't mean that you have to be super wealthy. It doesn't mean that you have to have a connection to this person, be a celebrity, any of that. All it means is that you have to have a vision and you have to have a dream and be relentless about your research and what you want to do.
Yes. And that's funny you say the 1%, because this is Uncensored Entrepreneur. And I want to get down to the nitty gritty really quick, because you just said something that made me think about the overall. There's only 2% of entrepreneurs that are people of color, right? 2%. The Department of Commerce's their minority division came up with this statistics about a couple of months ago. 2% of businesses are Black owned. And so you talked about the 1% in the wine industry. We talking about 2% overall businesses. Let me ask you your question, because I want to get into nitty gritty of this, because, we all entrepreneurs here. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the reason, now that you are blossoming into this wine industry and you're blossoming, what do you believe is the reason why it's only 2% of Black owned businesses?
Because it's very simple for me, also as a serial entrepreneur, and it's about access. Because 9 times out of 10, even when we come into an entrepreneurial space, as people of color, we're coming into this space and we already have jobs that we're working. So we don't have the luxury often of, hey, leave everything and start this. The reality is we're maintaining everything, working in everything, building this, trying to create more revenue. And in the midst of, yes, we understand we're learning business credit. Yes, we're learning, we're stacking and learning on all things, but all the things is not at our fingertips from when we first launch. Until we get into a space that we're already in, we've already invested money in, we're already creating it, then more than likely we're learning about this grant, how to register as a certain type of business, this funding, how to create business credit. Then we learn that. But like I said, coming into this specific industry, I was in college. I was already a mom. I was already, working jobs. It wasn't the luxury. Do you understand what happens when you have the luxury to just go to college? That for me, that's everything for my daughter. That's everything. Right. I don't want you to do anything else. Mm-hmm. And she's our creative director, but she knows nothing prioritizes over school and your education. I don't want you to be stressed. I want you to enjoy life, be able to be in those moments, in that space of you getting your education, but to understand what it's like to have that luxury. And then whatever it is, your dream that you want to do, the funding is already there. The way is already paid. The platform is already created, and all you have to do is step into it. Now that is what you call nepotism, and that is why the 2% exists. The reality is we have not had that luxury to just step into a business space. Any business space, 9 times out of 10 that we step into, we are fighting for. You understand? When I say we're fighting, from mentally, financially, having the right mentors and guidance to be on that path to create a successful business.
Right.
We're coming into this blank sheet of paper. Nobody ever taught us.
Right.
What do they call it in the boxing world? I can't remember. We're the underdogs. We're coming as the underdogs.
Yeah.
We're like the Rocky Balboas of the business world. We were not expected to win. We already come in like negative points with us, because like you make a point, some people are trust fund babies, or their parents gifted them the money. You find out a lot of times, well, how did this person get this? Oh, their father gave them $1 million. You know who I'm talking about. But anyway, he was president of the United States. You find out that he wasn't a self-made millionaire. They invested in him $1 million, which he flipped into, Trump Industries.
But that's a beautiful thing to be able to do.
Oh,
so
yes.
You already, but it's a different thing between I gave you the money, I gave you the blueprint, I gave you the mentorship, I put everything in place so you could not fail.
Right.
You understand what happens, but when you're not a millionaire, your goal is to create. My goal is to make sure that what I pass down and what I create is for my daughter to have that opportunity to do and have access to whatever it is that you want to do. And that's it. And I am 100% of talking about what we didn't have. But I'm going to tell you one thing about, we are such a powerful and beautiful and dreaming people, because we literally dream up these ideas from absolutely nowhere. Imagine creating a wine, working with vineyards. Don't even care if you know the right terminology or not. I'm going to keep calling until you answer the phone. I'm going to keep calling until you answer the phone. I don't care if I don't hold the wine glass right. I don't care if I don't know how to open this bottle. I'm going to learn on the way. I don't care if I don't know how the function or how to run a wine business or company. I'm gonna learn on the way. I'm
labeling, all that stuff.
But that's the determination. I'm
going to keep learning, and I'm going to keep learning, and I'm going to persevere, and I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to learn. I'm going to make some mistakes along the way, but I'm going to keep going, because in the midst of me making those mistakes is the midst of triumphs at the same time, because my kids who come behind me and their kids, and when I say kids, I don't mean like blood children. I'm talking about when I'm gone, I'm talking about the children that legacy behind me. Mm-hmm. The legacy is going to be, hey, y'all had the full blueprint. I don't want you fumbling. I don't want you running through hurdles. I want you to go through exactly the easy way. I don't want you to struggle. I want to tell you about this funding. I'm going to tell you how to set up everything, and I'm going to tell you how to do everything, because what you're going to do is create that legacy for the next generation.
So real quick, I need to say something quick, but she just touched upon something that we don't do, is the sharing part. You're saying, you just told the viewers that I'm willing to share my blueprint. I'm not charging you for this conversation today. Mm-hmm. She's telling you, look, this is what I did. You're getting free dose of inspiration, free dose of knowledge here today. And we're not charging you for this information. Mm-hmm. So soak it in, because like you said, take the information that people are giving you and use it. And again, there's a lot of free resources. You talk about mentorship and stuff like that. But I just wanted to jump in and say that real quick. I know Sabrina has some questions for you as well.
And just to piggyback off of what you just said, Stephanie, it's so important that, a lot of times Camillya's telling her story on like her journey and what she done. Mm-hmm. We have to realize that when you look at her right now, you see that she's doing well, that wasn't 5 minutes of success. That wasn't
Right.
2 seconds of success. That's probably 5, 10, maybe even 15 years of going through just to get here. But a lot of times, I'm sorry to say that we as African Americans, we see the end result and think like, oh, that was an overnight success. No, it was not. It was time, energy, years, blood, sweat, and tears that was put in there. You just didn't see that part. Now you see me all beautiful, holding my bottle, everything is good, but you didn't see what I had to go through. The sleep is nice as a parent. You talked about even being a parent going through this journey. As a parent, trying to run a business, work a job, and being an entrepreneur. Come on now. Those struggles alone in itself is crazy, but that determination that you had that determination that you was going to come out on the other side. You was determined, like you said, whether you knew how to hold the wine glass right, or if you knew the vocabulary was correct, you were determined to keep knocking on doors, picking up phones, calling folks to make sure you got to where you are now. And so that is commendable.
And I always say, you know how many burnt muffins? I always tell people, mind your muffins. You know how many burnt muffins that she probably did, y'all? You know how many times she didn't get the batter right? You know how many times
and still call. This ain't this is not the end game. The fun, like, to me, I am enjoying the journey. I think people see, okay, well, is she in this state yet? Or is she here? She there? Like, y'all, like this. When you go for the quick route, right? This, I just want to get in here. I just want to try this, and that's it, and it's gonna blow. That wasn't my story, and it was never supposed to be my story. Like I tell people all the time, this Ebony Wine and Spirits is going to be one of the largest melanated wine and spirits companies in the world, and I know this for a fact because I studied this. And it's not that I'm when I say it's not a cocky thing or anything like that. It's because I'm teachable and I'm humble and I'm willing to learn. I will pay to learn. I will travel to learn. I'm willing to learn. Listen, I'm on a computer. I'm talking to people who have been in the wine industry for years, even if their company is not as big as another company, because it's so many gems to learn. It's something about humility. For me, I've always been that type of person. Can I intern from you? You don't have to pay me. I'll work for you. What do you need me to do? How can I just learn? Because if I could just learn it, right? If you could, I'm not interested for a quick job. Do you understand? Somebody can pay you quick to do something. But if they are willing to take you under their wing and teach you and let you just let you stand by. Imagine, let me sweep the floor. Let me stand by. Because if I can just hear, if I can see, if I can just learn what it took you 10 years to learn, I know that I can keep going. And so for me, this journey is beautiful. My mistakes are beautiful. I'm learning, girl, and I'm making them, and I'm still going, and I'm not willing to give up. And I'm just so grateful because I always tell people this is the culture's wine. So as much as it was something given the idea to me, it wasn't just meant for me to have. I want, my biggest goal is to constantly build with others, work with others, connect with others, share my platform so that we all can grow. And I think that's what to me makes this wine industry so different. And when you see women in wine, right, especially women of color in wine, y'all, people don't understand. Most of us are mothers. Most of us have other businesses or work in other jobs. Most of us still on here making all type of content. We gotta dance, we gotta move, we gotta do all the things to get you to come and drink this wine, to just give me a try. So I'm like, when I get a chance to cheer on another woman in wine or somebody interested in it, y'all, it's not that it's easy, because it's not. But if you can just, it's about endurance. It's about, can you hang in there?
Yeah. So what Camillya is saying to you all that is watching is that there's different type of entrepreneurs that me and Sabrina talk about all the time. And that being, are you a lifestyle entrepreneur or you a growth entrepreneur? And Camille, we talk about this all the time because we consider if you want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur, this is, first of all, this is not the network for you. This is not the platform for you. And a lifestyle entrepreneur is how we define it. People just want to be an entrepreneur so they can, they can showboat, they can, wear the fancy clothes, be on the yachts. This is not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to cater to people that want to be what we call the growth entrepreneurs. Like you said, legacy building. Now, if those who are listening, are watching, look at us. We look like regular people today, right? Yeah. I ain't got no makeup on because typically this is what we kind of look like. You know what I'm saying? You see the glitz and the glam, when we have to, but we're putting in the work. And a growth entrepreneur is what we consider somebody who, like you said, is trying to do everything right, be legit, so you can leave a legacy. We can look like that later. That's not the goal. We're putting in blood, sweat, and tears. Like she said, you might find Camillya out in the garden somewhere, tasting with the boots on. I always think about the episode.
Grape smashing. She got that grape smashing.
When she's out there grape smashing her apple. That's I think of you. I'm like, she out there smashing grapes with her feet. That is the hard work. That's the metaphor that we're using. That's the hard work that we're putting in. Sometimes you gotta get your feet wet. You remember that episode, right? You gotta put your feet wet. Get your
honey, y'all be walking me out here in this vineyard picking them grapes and stomping grapes. Y'all, I don't know.
I mean, you gotta go through horse manure, the smell of horse manure. All that stuff goes into doing and if you're not willing to do all that and the sacrifices like she's telling you, then maybe this is not for you. You could be a hobby. There's nothing wrong with just being a hobby, a hobbyist. But she's telling you, if you want a sustainable business, you want growth, you want generational wealth, look at her blueprint. And here's the thing about it, Sabrina, and I don't know if you caught this, she's doing it alone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And the most of the time when we're in this journey, so like I've been taking this class through Cornell, and it's like a women's entrepreneurship class. And one of the things that they constantly talking about is how we as women, a lot of times we're doing it alone. But when you go and sit at the table, you're going to the table talking to a bunch of men. You're talking to a bunch of men who are, especially when it comes to venture capitalists, when you're trying to raise money for your business, when you're in that room, it's most of the time more older white men at the table that you're pitching to. And as a woman, they don't always think that, we're ready, or if we come in there with a little sass to us, then it's like, oh, she too emotional. No, it's not that. So the man can go in there, he can be a little aggressive or whatever. And it's like, okay, he's passionate, but we come in there with a little aggression, then we're too emotional. So when you go into some of these rooms, I'm pretty sure that you've sat at many of tables, especially when you're trying to get the funding for your business. What is it like in that room?
But Sabrina, before she answers, let's take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with Ebony from Ebony Spirits, Camillya.
We are back with Uncensored Entrepreneurs, and we're going to get right back into our talk. But really quick, before we get back into it, because Camillya's over there drinking this nice red wine, please tell us what you are drinking and show us that beautiful bottle again.
Okay, so we're drinking the 2017 vintage Ebony Red Fusion. It's a Bordeaux style red blend. I'm telling you right now, if you are a red wine drinker, you have to, and repeat, have to get the Ebony Red Fusion. Cheers.
See, now what's going to happen is, Stephanie, so when we get ready to do we did our launch early in the month, and so we're going to do quarterly networking events. So we're going to have to try to make sure we do some of your wine at our event so that we
they're online or like they're at a place?
They're
we're
in place.
going to have it at a place, so it's actually in place.
I want to come.
Hey, you got the invitation. It's going to be in May. And we would definitely love, and what's offline about how we can,
I'm a traveler, baby.
Definitely. We would love to have you.
Yeah. The last person we had was the egg rolls. Now we get the egg rolls and the wine. We really got a meal going on here, y'all.
Listen, and y'all don't be afraid to ask for sponsors, baby, because I'm the sponsorship queen. I will ask whatever business it is. All you got to write up and show them exactly what it is that you do, baby. They need them write-offs. Ask for everything.
And that right there, I would have to tell you that when it comes to stuff like this, we most definitely have to learn how to stop being afraid. Because I know sometimes we don't want to ask, but we have to get out our own way and ask for those sponsorship dollars for some of the things that we're doing. So that's so important to growing our business as well. Because I'm gonna tell you, I've been there, been like, I don't want to be asking people for stuff, but I've had to learn the hard way that, you know what I'm saying, you got a closed mouth don't get fed.
100%.
So you out here, you gotta ask. You gotta ask.
And especially if you're doing something great. Like, I get asked a lot for different things, and we go through and we're like, no. But for sure. Like, so yeah, totally ask. Great.
I have my hot seat questions, so we can dive into the hot seats.
Hot seat.
And my hot seat questions, I do this when I do my other interviews. It's just fun. I told Sabrina I'm kind of using this bacon metaphor right now because I think people have resonated with it. So here you go. Here's some of the hot seat questions. Okay. Can you give us a taste of how you came up? We already did that, but can you give us a taste of a taste when you felt like this was the aha moment? Can you give us like a taste, like when you bit into that muffin after you realized this is maybe the right recipe? Can you give us an example of that aha moment? Because I know that you went through several, I want this business and then like, this is not working, but give us a taste of that aha moment.
Oh my God. My aha moment was, it's very simple, but I remember making me and my daughter making our Instagram, right? And I was just like, dang, is anybody going to follow us? Because, when you first launch something, right? And you just don't know if people are going to be receptive to it. And so I was just like, oh, we got 20 followers. Oh, we got 30 followers.
Hey, that's a lot of people.
So I knew I said, these people, and then I just saw them ordering, and I was like, they believe in me. They believe in this. I got it. And that's because you can think something is so amazing, right? You can know your wine is amazing. I know for a fact, if anybody don't taste it, that it's amazing. But when y'all
right now, she got me. I know it's only what time is it here, but I know I want some right now.
But when other people taste it and they're like, girl, and I attract the most extra people in the world. So
nothing wrong with
girl, oh, you did that. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yes, I did.
That's a beautiful thing. So, and speaking on that, so when you went to, before kind of released your wine, having people to kind of taste it, do your tasting, did you have one blend, 2 or 3 blends? How did you decide on what was going to be that number one for you?
We came in swinging. We did not. So some people, obviously, they launch one wine and one wine and one wine. For us, and my vision, I wanted to create something for everyone from the jump. That's what we wanted to do. And so we created 4 amazing varietals, but I felt like we had something to speak to every palate. And of course, we did tastings, and of course, I do market research and different things like that. But I also, one of my favorite varietals is our Moscato. And I really wanted to come in with this Moscato because Moscato is like, I feel like it is so, it has to defend itself at all times. Like Moscato gets treated like a stepchild at all times. Like
that is so true.
And so working with, our blenders, working with our vineyards, we really sat down and we were able to create an amazing Moscato that wasn't going to be a typical Moscato. It wasn't going to be super sweet. It wasn't going to be super dry, but it was like this middle point. A lot of people compare it to Sauvignon Blanc, but it was just like, you know what? I'm going to make people believe in Moscato. Like, I'm not coming here to just, in everything that we do, I just felt like, you know what? I wanted to like hit you in the throat, like throat chop every single one. And I feel like that's what we did with all of our wines. I'm going to stick beside them. Moscato, I'm going to stick beside you. Our rosé, top tier. I'll put it beside.
These.
Listen, put it up to any rosé. I guarantee you, listen, that Ebony rosé will stand on its own. And our fan favorite is our Kinshasa. We call it the taste of the sun. And it's the taste of the sun. I'm telling you right now, like everybody and I could tell you the blends and all of that, but I want you, put it like this. We call it the new gold bottles for a reason.
Ooh. Okay. That's what we're talking about.
Wow. So so I have another hot seat question for you.
I love.
So I want you to think. Besides question, right? So describe the time you had to knead the dough and make tough decisions.
Ooh, girl.
Told you it was hot seat.
Okay, a tough decision. Well, a tough decision for me was, it was very recently. I was working with, and I'm new in the industry, so I was working with another, well, they call themselves a distributor, but they're also a wine company as well. And pretty much, and it's, like I told you, I'm in here and I'm working hard, but this situation really made me slow. One, it made me slow down because I was moving so fast and I wanted something so fast internationally that this company, who I now to come to find out, who's acting as a distributor, is like conning Black-owned businesses out of their money. And yes. So this was my first time having to experience, and with my energy and love, and I feel like I had did my research, but another woman who looked like me, who was giving me like their story and everything like that. So I felt like, hey, she can relate to my journey and what I'm going through. The whole time this person is like, and her business is praying, like just using that to prey on business owners like myself. And so, I lost a certain amount of money off of it. And it was something that made me say, okay, you know what, you have to, this is also it can be a cold industry too. So it's not just going to be, hey, you can't be so trusting, even if you think it's somebody that looks like you, if they have a story like you, if they, their wine is in different stores, in a certain store too. Like, even though it looked like it was a great thing, one thing my mother told me was she told me to slow down. She told me like, hey, you could wait, you could, be a little patient. And I didn't want to, and I felt like it was like such a fast opportunity. I was in the UK at the time. I was like, I needed to do this. I need to do this now. But it was, if talking about kneading the dough, it was something to make. It was a lesson that I got to learn very early in the industry. And now looking back on it, I'm thankful. I mean, it's a situation that I'm in the sense of fighting to get back what's mine. But it's also a situation of, I needed to learn this now.
Yeah.
Rather than it be larger and I have to learn it later.
And so one of the things that Stephanie and I talk about a lot of the times, and And I think that from this experience for you moving forward, you most definitely will be very cautious. But one of the things that we talk about, because we see as entrepreneurs, a lot of times they are getting scammed, and they don't do a thorough vetting of the business to be able to know, like, if they're really legit. Sometimes we get so excited about what we're doing, and then just, like you said, being very trusting of other people because they're in our same space. And when they look like us, we are hoping and praying that we can be able to work together, and they're going to keep us on the right track. They're going to be honest with us. But a lot of times we're learning that's not the case, and we're being sucker punched, and it's expensive. It's an expensive loss. But the fact that even though you took a loss, you kept going. You didn't let that stop you. So that is a blessing in disguise, because some people would have took that loss and they would just shut down. So
and I think for me, it's also taking it in a sense of like coming to learn about other companies who went through this too, and how they hadn't spoke out or hadn't like said anything about it. And I just knew, like, okay, what was my lesson in this? One, it was a part, again, you have the journey. If it was supposed to happen just like that, no hiccups, we in every single store in the country, if it was supposed to be that easy, everybody would do it. And it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that easy. But more than anything, like you said, like and the crazy part is I did vet. You know what I'm saying? I did the research. I looked this person up, and it was almost an unbelievable situation. But it's also like, again, like I said, part of my journey. I'm a fighter, so we're gonna get this together. It's not a lay down situation, but it's a sense of, like you said, needing the dough. This is it's another part of the story that I have to be able to I process, reflect on it, and it made me fight for more. But it's also the part that I have to tell the next people who come behind me, and that's what I get to do.
That's beautiful. That is necessary.
Right. And like you said, kneading the dough, it's all about lessons learned. Me and Sabrina said it all the time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you might want to look to your left, look to your right, and realize, wait a minute, what race am I in? Am I,
with self?
Right. Yeah. Is it a relay race? Is it a 5-meter dash or whatever? What race am I in? Look, check your surroundings and see, because it's not a competition. You go at your own pace and your own speed. I'm not competing with somebody. My journey is going to be different from Sabrina's journey, and Sabrina's journey is going to be different from Camilla's. And like she's saying, but then we still have to stay in our lane, because you can't go over here. You'd be disqualified, right, in a race. You got to stay in your lane and stay the course. I don't care if you're far behind. I watched some of these track races. I used to run track in school. I've seen some of these track races where people are so far behind. I'm like, there's no way in hell they're going to get up there. And what they did was, I learned this in track. You slow your pace.
Right. It's a pace. You
slow it because you don't give it all at front.
Yeah.
So you wait for everybody else to get tired, and then you wait to that moment. When you see everybody get tired, that's when your energy kicks in, because you start off slow, and boom, you have finished the race. Yeah. Right. You have finished the race. So I have one more question for you.
But I would say this, though, just to add to that, in entrepreneurship, I don't think there's a race. I think that is that whole process, and that you have to pay attention to every phase and every, as you're going through it. And you have to make sure that that certain stages of your business requires you, like your mom told you, to slow down and pay attention. And a lot of times we bullheaded, because we as women sometimes we want to jump the gun, and as entrepreneurs we want trying to get there. I gotta do it now. Yeah. We trying to get there, but we just have to learn. Like you said, that was a tough lesson for you to learn, but it was important. It was important for you to have that lesson, because now you know how to watch out for the snakes. Even when they're not slithering, you know how to spot one.
Right. And even when they look like you, even when the story is great, even when they're saying, hey, I have this reference, you still gonna have to check them. Like just you can't just go off of that. But even more so, I think when it comes to like our journey in the race, I think really understanding that like we're in a super digital world, right? So if you're on social media, so you're looking right here, you're not trying to, but you're looking to the left, you're looking to the right, and you're just like, dang, I'm working so hard. Like I have to get ahead too. Like, what about me? And that's something I learned early on in this. If you are interested in this industry, 100%, you have to make it your own. It has to be something that you're interested in, something that, that you're going to be attached to, something that you can resonate with, because you see other people starting certain things, and you also see them not, again, that 15 minutes, because it wasn't something that meant as much. It wasn't something that had longevity in the sense of this right here. I believe in it wholeheartedly. And so coming into this, I knew from day one that in order for us to do well, in order for us to thrive, it needed to be something that it was going to have my heart in it, that spiritually I was going to be like, you know what, this is going to be impactful. So for like in this industry, I think whatever you do, it needs to be something, even if it's wine, because some people think, oh, it's wine and spirits. Like, how impactful can you be? Like, I still go and schools still ask me to come speak. They want to know the story. They want to know, they want to talk about entrepreneurship. They want to talk about, me in the situation of all facets, because different things are so inspiring. If I hear, all I have to do is hear perseverance, hear that you didn't have, that it wasn't handed to you, hear of why in a heartfelt way, why was this so important to you? That's a different, that it resonates with you from even a young age to, what I can do, I can, I will, I must, I have to do something. And so whatever you do, whether it be this industry or whatever industry, I believe that it has to be something that is heartfelt, something that means something to you.
Yeah, that's so deep, because it ties me basically into the next question, because what you've said, and you probably already summed it up, but if you can, because we are legit TV, so we always have to ask this question: what does legit mean to you? What does being legit mean to you?
Yeah, I'm so goofy, because the first thing I wanted to do was like,
too legit. You do some parachute pants, right? Like,
girl, that's exactly what hit my head. But legit.
Well, now that song gonna be in my head all day. Well, we can laugh too. We have an ups and downs.
Oh my God.
All this, we still can laugh.
Yes, we have to laugh. I think legit means to me is to be for real. Like, be for real and be serious about what you do. Like, what is legit about your purpose, about your brand, about your business. What is serious, what is meaningful, what is true. That's what legit means to me.
Oh, love it.
Really good answer.
That was really good. After we got through our too legit to quit.
But she is going to be too legit to quit. That's what she
said.
Yes,
indeed. She is. Yes, she is. And it's, you have an amazing story. It's very powerful. And I love that you have your daughter involved. And even though, like you said, she's focused on school, but she's walking through this journey with you. And so she sees, the steps, the process, and understanding that entrepreneurship is no walk in the park, and that she has an opportunity to either continue on with your legacy that you had, or start her own venture. But she knows she has a person that's by her side to support her, to help her, keep her from making some of the mistakes that you've already had to make, you know, in this journey. So we are really blessed to have had you on today and just giving us a little bit more about your journey. Like Stephanie said, you know what I'm saying? We like to give you your flowers. They're virtual right. flowers, but I like to give them to you now because it's so important that we continue to uplift, encourage each other as BIPOC entrepreneurs, and we're on this journey. We have to stick together and share resources and let everybody know that anything is possible as long as you stick to it and you are determined, and you know, don't allow anybody to tell you that you can't.
100%.
And to follow with that, just want to let people know, where can they find you? What is your website? What is your social media handles? Where can people find Ebony Spirits?
All right. You can find Ebony Wine and Spirits at www.ebonywineandspirits.com. You can follow us on all our social media platforms at Ebony Wine and Spirits. If that's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it, you're going to see something that you love. You're going to see us dancing. You're going to see us serious, but you're also going to see why Ebony Wine and Spirits is a celebration of culture. So if you don't feel like putting those in, just hashtag Ebony Wine and Spirits and all of it will come up. Thank you.
You know, y'all, she's such a beautiful person. Y'all don't understand. Her spirit, it goes along with her products. And we just want to say thank you. Because you're one of the reasons why we created this platform in the first place, is that we wanted to be able to inspire people. You know, we call it Legit TV because we really want to be about legit talk, legit stories, legit information, legit resources out there. No more trying to hear all that noise when you can hear directly from people who are doing the journey, who are continuing that journey. So we do want to say thank you. I always tell people, like to wrap it up and tell people that we all have a ministry, and your ministry is not only making wine, but is you building a legacy behind you. And that is something that you just can't wrap with a bow and just give it as a present. It's something more in depth to that. So we want to say thank you. We appreciate you and your spirit, and we are going to be rooting for you, cheering for you. Can't wait to get our own bottle of the wine to taste it for ourselves. And again, say thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes. And most definitely, we hope that if you can make it to our May event, we would love to have you here and have some of our people because again, it's important. It's important that we work together as Black women. We always say that, you know, we tell people we can work together. Together with everybody, but we are going to show the people that we can work together and we're going to support one another. So again, we greatly appreciate you joining us today. Guys, this has been another episode of Uncensored Entrepreneurs. We have Miss Camillya Masunda. I pronounced it wrong.
You got it.
Spirit. She has given us some very, very good nuggets, and I want you guys to take away whatever you can from her message, because if you're trying to get into this space, she has information that I'm pretty sure if you reach out to her, she's willing to share. And if you're not in that space, just take some of the nuggets, because on an entrepreneurship journey, some of these nuggets will still apply to you. So again, thank you so much. Guys, thank you again for coming and checking us out on Uncensored Entrepreneurs. I am your host, Sabrina Wiggins.
And I'm Stephanie Magnus. And thank you for uncorking with us today.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Tune in weekly to hear the uncensored voices of Stephanie Magnus and Sabrina Wiggins, two women who speak candidly about entrepreneurship. Stay connected with us at www.legittvnetwork.com.